everyone, in this tutorial we are going to be working with print and cut, and if you haven't worked with print and cut, you're going to fall in love today because it is so much fun to work with. So we're going to be using a printable vinyl, and we're going to be creating a design that we actually will print out on the vinyl and then cut out. So it actually acts much like a sticker, and it's super fun to work with. So if you haven't done that yet, then stay tuned because I first worked with printable vinyl a few months ago and I became very obsessed. It is really, really fun to work with. It's how I created my little decal for my Cricut here, with a little watercolor floral design. So their possibilities are endless. So once you start learning the basics on printable vinyl, you guys will learn that it's just going to open up your crafting world to so many different project opportunities. So in today's project, we are going to be making a Valentine for teachers. That's specifically what I'm making this Valentine design for. But if you don't have a little one who's in school or teachers in your little life right now, then be sure to use the techniques and ideas from this tutorial to create a Valentine for anybody in your life. This is good for coworkers or friends, anybody that you would like to make it for. Okay, so we are going to be mainly working and debuting printable vinyl today. I haven't done this yet on the channel, but I love working with it behind the scenes, so I thought I would share so you guys can equally get obsessed as well. So what you're going to need is printable vinyl. This comes in a pack of 10 sheets. You can either get this at your local craft store or you can get it off of Amazon, and everything will be linked below so you know exactly what I'm using for this project. Again, this is the Cricut brand. It is just printable vinyl, and it's super fun to work with. So I'm going to walk you through how we're going to use that. Other things you're going to need are, you'll need your Cricut weeding tool, and I grabbed my tweezers and this little spatula tool just in case, because we're going to be working with cardstock today, so it might just help me peel that off of the mat. We're also going to be using these little foam adhesive dots, and they're super nice to work with, so you can get these just about anywhere, and I'll link some others below for you as well. You're going to need some chapstick. You can get any chapstick that you like. We are in love with Burt's Bees at our house, so we are going to be gifting some of those. And then you're also going to need some cardstock, so you can get any color, and these come in sheets. You can get these at any craft store. I'm actually still using, this is the design we're going to be making, a little scalloped rectangle. So I'm still using some little birthday cards that I bought. I bought these little blank cardstock cards because I created little birthday cards for my girls' party. So I'm still using scraps from that, so that's why you will see these little cards. So I'm just using cardstock cards so I can get rid of some of my leftover pieces, but you can just buy cardstock by the sheet at your craft store and get it in any color that is best for your project. Okay, I think that is it. I think that's all we're going to be needing, and if I forget anything, always utilize the links below in the description box, and I will make sure that I put everything in there. Okay, so we are going to be doing a little teacher Valentine that just says "Be my Valentine." It's doing a little play on words with the little Burt's Bees chapstick. It's going to be super cute, super easy, and if you are doing a Valentine last minute like I am, it is the Sunday before Valentine's Day, then you are going to be in luck because this is actually super fast too. So I've got you covered. This idea is definitely not original. Good old Google is very helpful for us mamas who just need a quick inspiration and something that we can quickly make. So I credit Google for this wonderful "Be my Valentine" idea. All right, let's go ahead and pop into Design Space, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to create the design that I'm going to be printing out on the vinyl, and then we will get to printing on the vinyl, cutting, and getting all of these cards constructed and ready to go. Okay, so here we are in Cricut Design Space. This is where we are going to be creating all of the things that we are going to be printing and cutting, and everything that will help us construct this sweet little "Be Mine Valentine Day" card. So again, very good for last minute projects because this is going to be using a lot of pre-made SVG files, so you're not going to have to be doing a lot of designing. You're just going to have to be arranging and cutting. So what we're going to do, I'll walk you step by step. We're going to first construct the back card that's going to be the scallop card that's going to be cut out of cardstock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to images, and what I did was I typed in scalloped rectangle, and I'm going to go ahead and use this one right here. So I'll go ahead and insert my images here, and what I'm going to do is I just want the rectangle. So you'll see over in the layers panel here that there's 3 different layers. So what I'm going to do is I am going to hide the, actually I can just delete it. Sometimes I like my, you can either hide or just hit the delete button. Sometimes I like having less over in my layers panel because it just kind of simplifies it for my eye, and I'm not having to do a bunch of rummaging around over here. So I'm just going to delete the layers that I don't want. I just want the rectangle box. So this is what I'm going to be working with. This is what I'm going to cut the cardstock out of, and it's going to be my base layer. I'm going to go ahead and get the icky brown color off of here and do this pink, because that is the pink color we're going to be working with. And now I'm going to show you how I'm going to create the actual Valentine that is going to be the print and cut. So what we're going to do is we will go over and create a text box. Oops, sorry. Nope, we're going to create a shape box. And we are going to have this be white, and we are going to click the bottom left hand corner. This lock button will hit unlock. It will allow us to make any type of rectangular shape, and it won't limit us to a square. So I am going to make this about 3 inches by almost 4 1/4. Oh, or just perfectly 4 1/4. Hey, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna lock that because that's exactly the size that I want. Let me see if I can make this a tad bigger. There we go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is this is going to end up going right on here. And so I'm gonna put that there, and I'm going to grab and unlock my little scallop box, and I am going to just size that how I want. Now this white piece is actually going to be the printable vinyl, so this is going to apply down like a sticker, which makes this super easy project. So again, pink is cardstock, white is the printable vinyl. I'm going to go ahead and lock this because that's exactly what I'm going for. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to grab some SVG files. So I'm going to go to this 4th button down on the right and go to images, and I am going to type in Be My Valentine. And this first one is the one I'm actually going to be using. It's super cute. There's another little design I'm going to be using. They're actually straw wraps, but I'm going to be using them as just a little design. So these are Bee straw wraps, and they're these little designs right here. And I will go ahead, and they're both down in my queue, so that Be My Valentine SVG, and then the straw wraps are down here. I'm going to go ahead and hit Insert Images. Ooh, and they're super big. Let me make this smaller again just so I can size that, and then I will size these up again for you so that you guys can go ahead and see it on the bigger screen. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and make this bigger again so you guys can see. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these are going to be little just little borders on the Valentine. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually not going to be using the bee pattern. I'm just going to be using this sweet little striped pattern. So I am going to come over here and hide the bee one, and in fact just like I did with my little scallop, I'm just going to delete that and simplify my little space up here. And am I seeing like a little, there's like a little red mark here, and I don't know, I don't trust that it's not going to print. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm just going to slice that off because I'm not confident that it's not going to print on there, and I know it's small, but I guess I'll know it's there. So I'm just going to slice this off. If you guys don't know how to use the slice tool, I will link another tutorial that I did using the slice tool, because I'm just going to do this really quick so we can continue the project. but please refer to that video if you don't know how to use the slice tool, because it is super helpful. And I just sliced that little part off. Okay, and then it almost looks, okay, I'm getting really picky, you guys, but I really want these to turn out just right. So I'm gonna slice the top too, because there's like a yellow bar, if you can see. Do you guys see this yellow bar? I just don't want that to print either. I want it to be a nice clean little design. Okay, so again, selecting both of these, I'm gonna go and hit slice and then delete, delete, delete. Okay, perfect. Okay, now that's where I want it to be. Again, I will link that other video on the slice tool down below, because I went through that really fast, but I have dedicated an entire video to how to use that nice slice tool. Okay, so I'm going to just size this right here. Perfect. And then what I'm gonna do, actually it's a little big. These are just gonna be kind of sweet little boards. It's just gonna add a little something to my, perfect, I love that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go over here and I'm gonna hit duplicate and put another one near the bottom. This is one of those projects that is going to take you longer to design than it is to construct the card. So if you guys are feeling like this is a lot, don't worry, because once you get it printed, you're going to be done in about 2 seconds. So, okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to my layers panel. I'm going to grab these little hearts and I'm going to color them pink. Okay, perfect. And what I'll do is I'm just going to go ahead and size this. Oh, the other thing I did is I did grab these and I grabbed the Be My Valentine text and Be image, and I did those a nice dark gray. Okay, so I'm just going to size that and then put that right on my card as well. Maybe size him up a little bit. Looks super cute. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do is I am going to go up here to the text box and I'm going to write out love and a comma, and I'm going to make this that excuse me, that nice gray color as well. And I'm going to I want to say afterglows. Let me look at Playful Jake. I like this better. I really like Playful Jake for kid projects because I think it just kind of looks kind of kiddish and ironically playful. That's probably why they named it Playful Jake. In a minute, I'm going to do this and I'm going to leave ample room down here for my daughter because she's going to sign these Valentines and she is 3. So she'll write her name, but she does need a little bit of space to do that. So what I will do is I will give her lots of space, and then this is where we're going to put the little chapstick. Okay, so we are good to go with that. I'm going to drag this out really quick, and what we're going to do is we are going to select all of this and we are going to come over here and we are going to say flatten. Okay, let me go back. Look at our layers panel over here. So we are working with everything above the scallop. When we selected all of that, everything, and they all are multi-layers. When you go and hit the flatten button, it puts it all into one image, and now it is a print then cut image. So it makes a multi-layer image a single layer image, and it signifies to your Cricut that you are going to be printing this on your printer, and then you'll be placing it in your Cricut to cut out. So that is how you're going to convert the file to a print then cut. All right, so now we are all ready to go. So then this is going to go right over here. How sweet is that? It's going to look really nice. Let me make sure my sizing is just right. Any last minute changes, this is the time to do it. Okay. That looks pretty good, guys. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over here to make it. And oops, I'm gonna go back. Sorry guys, I forgot one thing. What we're gonna do is we're actually going to be making 3 of these. So I'm gonna go over here and I am going to hit the little Valentine part, and I'm gonna duplicate it twice so that I have a total of 3. And I can just drag these off to the side. It doesn't matter where they are. And then I'm going to hit the scallop frame and I'm going to duplicate it twice so that I have a total of 3. and then I'm going to drag it over here or wherever, it doesn't really matter. So now when I go to hit make it, now I have 3 of each, if that makes sense. Okay, so what I'm going to do is it already knows that this is going to be a print then cut. So what this is going to do is I'm going to hit continue, and it's already going to allow me to send it to my printer. So I'm going to send it to my printer. I have an OfficeJet Pro 8620. If you are doing a print then cut, just make sure that you are using an ink type printer instead of a laser printer. That is going to work the best. And then for the little selections down here, we're just going to make one. It's going to make one copy right here, and then we're going to turn bleed on, and this just prints a little bit more ink around the edges so that when it goes to cut, it doesn't really matter on this project because it's just going to be cutting a white box, but I always just add bleed on because when it goes to do a cut, then it gets really, really, really close, and if it doesn't get close enough, then it will cut into the bleed. It's really hard on this project to make sense of what bleed means, but I would just recommend you always keep bleed on. Okay, so now I'm going to have it print, and we will get to cutting. Okay, so this is what it turned out like. So again, what I did is I went and I put my printable vinyl in my little paper tray so that it would feed through printable vinyl instead of paper, and this is how it came out. So what it did is it printed out 3 like I prompted it to, and it printed them inside of this dark black rectangle, and this is called the registration mark. So these marks are going to be what tell your Cricut where to actually cut. The marks are what your Cricut is going to reference in order to know where to do the cuts. So the box is really, really important, and so it's going to be important that you load your printable vinyl on your sheet with the registration mark. So don't do any cutting beforehand. You're just going to load this 8.5 by 11 sheet onto the Cricut as straight as you can, and it's going to use those registration marks to know exactly how to cut out your design. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little brayer tool, and I'm just going to flatten this down. Now, one thing that's really important is you're going to want to make sure that your Cricut has been calibrated. So it's super easy. I'm not going to go through that in this tutorial because it would just kind of take time away from the actual craft, but it's super easy. You're just going to go into Cricut Design Space, I believe. Let me even check. It's on the top. Let's see. Oh, okay, so you're going to go, there's like 3 little bars right next to the Make button or the Canvas button in Cricut Design Space, and it's just going to prompt you to calibrate your machine, and that is going to just make sure that your machine is super, super accurate when it comes to using print then cut. So make sure that you calibrate before. You should only have to calibrate your machine one time, but if you do notice that your machine isn't cutting your print then cut accurately, then you may be prompted to do it again just to make sure that it stays accurate. Okay, so that's loaded on the mat, and so I'm going to go ahead and load this in my Cricut, and I will show you what selection you're going to make in order to get this cut out, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut out the cardstock. Okay, here we are back in Design Space. So step 1 printed has been done. We have the design printed on the vinyl. So now step 2 of cutting is going to happen. So now what we're going to be doing is we are going to use the setting Printable Vinyl. So it's under the vinyl category, and then it's Printable Vinyl. So we'll select that, and then we will go ahead and load our mat. And then we will get to cutting. When it comes down to this second cut, what we will do is we will actually use the heavy cardstock mode. So I'm not going to show you that, but just know that I'm going to put this on the overhead camera. I'm actually also going to arrange these so that they are all on the mat at the same time, but are cutting from different materials. You guys will see when I put this overhead, but you guys will see how I do that, and then we'll get to cutting that. So I'm not going to pop back into this this screen, so just know when I go to print the cardstock, I'm going to do heavy cardstock, and then I'm just going to have these kind of haphazardly arranged on the mat so it can cut out of that cards that I have left over. Okay, and we are going to hit the Cricut button, and it's going to go ahead and get cutting. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to go ahead, it says it's scanning. So what it's doing is it's going and it is going to read all of these little registration marks. So it's going to take its time, it's going to do its due diligence and make sure that it knows where everything is. The registration marks are going to tell the Cricut where all of these pieces are. So it's just going to take its time and do that. And once it's done that, then it will go ahead and cut out the actual images for us. And now it's going to go really fast because they're just little rectangles. It's doing a great job. Sometimes I hold my breath when I do this because, not that you can't redo things, but you just hope everything goes perfectly the first time. And there it goes. It's got 2 of the 3 and it's doing the last one. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and load my Cricut. And it has went ahead and cut the little boxes around. And then now they're essentially just stickers. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my mat over and peel the vinyl off of the mat. Looks awesome. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside for a second so we can get to cutting the cardstock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these little guys. And I'm going to place my cardstock right on this mat. And I'm going to, again, when you saw in Design Space, you can move those little pieces around on your mat but just by clicking and dragging. That way you can try to cut everything out at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to put 3 pieces on here and we will get it cutting. Okay, so I'm going to unload. It's done cutting the cardstock. Those are perfect. Okay, so do you see how arranging those on the mat in Design Space just helps you to be able to do multiple cuts at the same time? You just will definitely make sure you're looking at the inches. That way you know you can see what you're doing on the screen and replicate it down on the mat. So that will be your saving grace there. These are going to be so cute. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little peeling method where you just kind of peel and then just kind of spatula up these little pieces. Just being careful not to curl the cardstock. While it is a heavy cardstock and it's tough, you want to make sure you're not just like peeling it back because it will curl and that doesn't look too nice and polished in the end. Okay. Now we have 3 sweet little scallop pieces. And now it's going to be super easy. So what we're going to do is we are just going to peel away our little print and cut. And again, it's just like a sticker. And we are just going to place them down on each little Valentine. Being as careful as we can to get them straight. Go. And you'll literally just lay it down like a sticker. You can just use your fingers. If you want to use your little Cricut scraping tool, go ahead. That's totally fine. Those look really cute. Okay, I'm going to do the second 2. Okay. The last one is down. How cute, you guys. Look how cute these are. So quick and easy. And that cardstock is really nice because it makes them very, very durable. So they are all set. Okay, the last step is going to be putting the little chapstick on. So that is where I'm going to be using these little foam dots. And I like these because they come in assorted sizes. There's 3 different sizes on here. can sneak one out. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, let's see, I want the little Burt's Bees and then the little flavor to be on top. So I think what I will do, okay. Just placing these on the back. It's a little bit easier to work with than tape. And then it kind of gives it a little 3D effect because they kind of pop off of the page. So now I'm just going to peel the little backings off. Okay. And place it right on the Valentine. Cute. Okay, I'm going to repeat both of those steps for the second two. Okay, and just finishing up the last one. That was so fast. So the only thing left to do is just have my little sweet pea come and write her name on these, and they will be all set to go. Looking at these, this coconut and pear looks delicious. That looks like a really fun little, little flavor. Okay. That is the final project. Let me see if I can get all of these up there for you guys to see. And the chapstick, they do come in a little pack. So it's like a multi-pack with multi-different flavors. So you guys can just pick those up. I'll link those down too. So this was a 4-pack, but we only needed 3, and that's how they turned out. How fun and easy. So again, most of your work and prep will be going into the design portion, because once everything's cut out, you're literally placing a sticker and placing chapstick with little adhesive dots, and you're all done. So what do you guys think? I think this is a great idea if you have a little last minute project. Again, we are the Sunday before Valentine's Day, and this was super, super easy and very time friendly. So, okay guys, if you enjoyed this tutorial, then make sure you please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And again, I was teasing in the last couple of videos, my craft calendar is full for the next couple months, so you guys are in for some really fun things. I have everything purchased and ready to film. Everything's going to be super, super fun, and I have really great ideas. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Hit that little bell button if you'd like an additional little reminder when my first videos go first live. So make sure that you are all subscribed and ready to go, because it's going to be really, really fun. All right, happy Valentine's Day.